The sun rises over a quiet street, where neighbors sip coffee on their porches. A yellow school bus stops at the corner, and children with backpacks run toward it, laughing. This is a morning in America, ordinary, yet full of small stories waiting to be told. Welcome to the Fluent Storybook. Here, we bring you simple and engaging stories to help you improve your English. Listen, learn, and enjoy as we take you on a journey through American life. The morning sun shone brightly through the window as Olivia sat at the breakfast table, staring at her plate of scrambled eggs and toast. She wasn't really hungry. Her stomach felt tight, as if 100 tiny butterflies were flying around inside. Today was her first day at a new school, and she was nervous. She had moved from a small town in Ohio to this big city in Texas just last week. Everything felt new. The house, the streets, even the air smelled different. But the scariest part was starting school in a place where she didn't know anyone. Her mom, sensing her nervousness, gave her a warm smile. "You're going to do great, Olivia. Just be yourself." Her dad patted her shoulder. "And remember, everyone loves a friendly smile. You'll make new friends before you know it." Olivia nodded, but wasn't so sure. Making friends had always been easy back home because she had known those kids since kindergarten. But here, she was a new girl. Would anyone want to talk to her? What if she got lost? What if no one sat with her at lunch? After breakfast, Olivia grabbed her backpack and followed her mom to the car. As they drove through the busy streets, she watched other kids walking to school, some chatting happily, others listening to music on their phones. She wondered if any of them went to the same school as her. When they arrived, the school building looked enormous. It had tall red brick walls, large glass windows, and a huge sign that said, "Welcome to Lincoln Middle School" in bold letters. Students hurried across the front yard, some rushing to get inside, others standing in small groups, laughing and talking. Olivia took a deep breath. This was it. She stepped out of the car, and her mom gave her an encouraging wink. "You've got this, sweetie. See you after school." As Olivia walked toward the entrance, she felt her heart pound. Inside, the hallways were crowded with students moving in all directions. Some lockers slammed shut, teachers stood at classroom doors greeting students, and the sound of laughter and chatter filled the air. She clutched the small map of the school that the office had given her and searched for room 204, her homeroom. As she walked past a group of students, she overheard them talking about a big football game coming up. Another group was comparing schedules. Olivia felt invisible, as if she didn't belong here. Finally, she found her classroom and walked in. A few students were already sitting at their desks, chatting. She hesitated for a moment before choosing a seat near the middle. The teacher, a friendly-looking woman with short curly hair, smiled at her. "You must be Olivia. Welcome. I'm Mrs. Carter." Olivia managed a small smile. "Thank you." As more students entered, she watched them greet each other. Some exchanged high fives, others whispered about their summer vacations. No one seemed to notice her. She looked down at her notebook, unsure what to do. Then, a girl with wavy brown hair and a bright smile sat down next to her. "Hey, I'm Sophia. Are you new?" Olivia nodded. "Yeah, I just moved here last week." "Cool. Where from?" "Ohio." Sophia's eyes widened. "Wow, that's far. Texas must feel really different." Olivia relaxed a little. "Yeah, it's bigger than I expected." Sophia laughed. "Everything in Texas is big. Don't worry, you'll get used to it." Before Olivia could say more, the bell rang, and Mrs. Carter began taking attendance. Olivia felt a little better knowing that at least one person had talked to her. Maybe today wouldn't be so bad after all. The morning went by quickly. In English class, she had to introduce herself to the class, which made her face turn red, but her teacher, Mr. Lewis, was kind and made it easy. In math, she struggled a little because the lessons were different from what she had learned back home. At lunchtime, she carried her tray nervously, looking for a place to sit. She spotted Sophia waving at her from a table near the window. Relieved, she walked over and sat down. "Hey, Olivia, this is Jacob and Emily." Sophia introduced her to the two other students sitting with her. Jacob nodded. "Hey, welcome to Lincoln Middle." Emily smiled. "Yeah, it's always cool to have new people." Olivia smiled back. "Thanks. As they ate, they talked about their favorite TV shows, the best teachers in school, and the upcoming school fair. Olivia was starting to feel more comfortable. Maybe making friends here wouldn't be so hard after all. The last class of the day was history. Olivia walked into the room and sat near the back. As the teacher began the lesson, she noticed a paper on her desk. Curious, she unfolded it. It was a flyer for the school's Saturday farmers market trip. Sophia leaned over and whispered, "It's a school trip to the farmers market downtown. You should come. It's really fun." Olivia hesitated. A trip? On her first week? But before she could think too much, she nodded. That sounds fun. Maybe this was exactly what she needed, to explore her new city, meet new people, and experience American life in a whole new way. Saturday morning arrived with a golden sunrise peeking through Olivia's bedroom window. The warm Texas air carried the scent of freshly cut grass, and birds chirped outside as if they were greeting a brand new day. Olivia stretched under her soft blanket and glanced at the clock, 7:30 a.m. Today was the school trip to the farmers market, and for the first time since moving here, she felt excited. She sat up and grabbed her phone, checking the message Sophia had sent her the night before. "Sophia, don't forget, meet us at school by 9. You're gonna love this." Olivia smiled. It felt nice to have something to look forward to. She quickly got dressed in a light blue t-shirt, denim shorts, and comfortable sneakers. As she tied her shoelaces, her mom walked in. "Up early on a Saturday? That's new," her mom teased, placing a banana on her desk. Olivia grinned. "I have to be at school by 9. We're going to a farmer's market." "That sounds fun. Maybe you'll find something delicious to bring home," her mom said with a wink. "Maybe," Olivia said, grabbing her backpack. She was more excited about spending time with new friends than the actual market. By 8:45, Olivia stood outside the school, where a yellow bus waited to take them downtown. Students gathered in small groups, chatting and laughing. She spotted Sophia waving at her near the front of the line. "You made it," Sophia said cheerfully. "Of course. I wasn't going to miss it," Olivia replied. Jacob and Emily soon joined them. "Ready to taste the best lemonade in Texas?" Jacob asked. Emily rolled her eyes. "Jacob, every time we come here, you talk about that lemonade." "Because it's that good," he insisted. They boarded the bus, and as the driver started the engine, their history teacher, Mr. Turner, stood at the front. "All right, everyone, we're heading to the downtown farmers market. Remember, stay with your groups, explore, try new things, and most importantly, have fun." The bus ride was short, but Olivia spent most of it staring out the window. Downtown was so different from her quiet Ohio town. Skyscrapers stretched into the sky, colorful murals decorated the walls of buildings, and the streets bustled with people. When the bus finally stopped, she felt a rush of excitement. The moment they stepped off, the air filled with the scent of fresh flowers, baked goods, and roasted coffee beans. Stalls lined the streets, bursting with bright red tomatoes, golden honey jars, handmade crafts, and baskets of fresh peaches and apples. Musicians played guitars on the sidewalks, and families strolled by, stopping to admire the displays. "Welcome to the best part of our town," Sophia said proudly. Olivia looked around in awe. It was nothing like the small grocery store she was used to. Here, everything felt alive, colorful, and personal. Vendors greeted customers warmly, offering samples of juicy watermelon slices and homemade cookies. Olivia had never seen anything like it. They started at a fruit stand, where a woman with a big straw hat handed them slices of fresh mango. Olivia took a bite and her eyes widened. "This is amazing," she said. "I know, right?" Sophia laughed. "You haven't even tried the peaches yet." They moved to another stand where a friendly elderly man was selling fresh honey. "Would you like to try some local Texas honey?" he asked. Jacob eagerly accepted, dipping a small wooden stick into a jar and tasting it. This is the best part of the market." Olivia tried it too, and the sweetness melted on her tongue. "Wow, this is way better than store-bought honey." The vendor beamed. "That's because it's made right here in town by hard-working bees." As they wandered through the market, Olivia noticed how friendly and welcoming everyone was. Vendors chatted with customers like old friends, children ran around laughing, and even the air felt full of happiness. They stopped at a bakery stand where a woman was selling freshly baked cinnamon rolls. The smell alone made Olivia's mouth water. She reached into her pocket, pulling out a few dollars. "I have to get one of these," she said. The woman smiled as she handed Olivia a warm cinnamon roll, the icing slowly melting over the top. Olivia took a bite, and for a moment, everything else disappeared. It was soft, sweet, and perfect. "This is the best thing I've ever eaten," she declared. Emily laughed. "That's what I said the first time I came here." After an hour of exploring, they stumbled upon a small handmade jewelry stand tucked between two larger stalls. Bracelets, necklaces, and rings sparkled under the sunlight. Sophia picked up a delicate silver bracelet. "These are beautiful." The vendor, a young woman with curly red hair, smiled. "I make all of them myself. Each piece is one of a kind." Olivia examined a necklace with a tiny star pendant. "I love this one." The woman leaned in. "That's called the Traveler's Star. It's for people starting new journeys." Something about that made Olivia's heart flutter. She was on a new journey, moving, making friends, and adjusting to a new life. She smiled and decided to buy it. As the woman placed the necklace in a small paper bag, she said, "I hope it brings you good luck." As noon approached, Mr. Turner gathered the students near a fountain in the center of the market. "All right, everyone, hope you had a great time. We have one last stop before we head back. Lunch at the picnic tables." They followed him to a shaded area where food trucks were parked nearby. Olivia and her friends grabbed plates of tacos and fresh lemonade before sitting at a wooden table. "I told you this lemonade was the best," Jacob said, taking a long sip. Olivia had to admit it was pretty amazing. She looked around at her new friends, the lively market, and the bright Texas sky. For the first time since moving, she didn't feel like an outsider. She felt like she belonged. As they finished eating, Sophia suddenly perked up. "Oh, I almost forgot. Next Saturday, we're going on a road trip to the Grand Canyon. You should come, Olivia." Olivia's eyes widened. "A road trip?" Jacob grinned. "Yep, it's a school tradition. A long drive, music, snacks, and the most incredible view you'll ever see." Olivia hesitated for only a second before nodding. "Count me in." She had never been on a real road trip before, and after today, she knew one thing for sure. This new life in America was just getting started. The week leading up to the road trip passed in a blur. Olivia found herself adjusting more and more to life in Texas, but she still couldn't believe she was about to go on a real American road trip. Back in Ohio, her family had never traveled much. The idea of driving for hours, stopping at roadside diners, and watching the landscape change sounded like something out of a movie. On Friday evening, her mom walked into her room as Olivia was packing. "So, you really going?" her mom asked with a smile. Olivia nodded. "Yeah," Sophia said, "it's a school tradition, and everyone's going. Plus, it's the Grand Canyon. I mean, how could I say no?" Her mom sat on the edge of the bed. "You know, your dad and I were planning to take you there one summer, but we never got around to it. I'm glad you'll get to see it now." Olivia smiled. It was nice to hear that. Even though Texas was starting to feel like home, she still missed Ohio sometimes. Her mom handed her a small Polaroid camera. "Take some pictures for me." "Really? Thanks, Mom." Olivia grinned and hugged her. By the time she finished packing, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Tomorrow morning, she would set off on a trip that felt like the start of something big. Saturday morning, Olivia stood outside the school parking lot, where a large white van was parked. Sophia, Jacob, Emily, and a few other students were already there, stuffing backpacks and coolers into the trunk. Mr. Turner was their chaperone, sitting in the driver's seat with a map spread out on the dashboard. "Ready for this?" Sophia asked, handing Olivia a granola bar. "Definitely," Olivia replied, tossing her bag into the van. Once everyone piled inside, Mr. Turner started the engine. "All right, folks, 7 hours to the Grand Canyon. Buckle up and let's hit the road." As they drove out of town, Olivia leaned against the window, watching the buildings slowly fade into wide-open highways and desert landscapes. The sky was endless, stretching far beyond anything she had ever seen. Jacob pulled out his road trip playlist, blasting classic songs from the speakers. "Rule number 1 of road trips," he said. "Music is everything." Sophia laughed. Rule number 2. Snacks are just as important. She tossed a bag of pretzels toward Olivia. Noted, Olivia said, munching on one. They drove for hours, making stops along the way. A roadside diner in New Mexico became their first big break. The place looked like something from the 1950s, with red booths, a jukebox in the corner, and waitresses wearing aprons. Olivia had never been to a place like this before. She ordered a chocolate milkshake and a cheeseburger, and as she took her first sip, she felt like she was truly experiencing America in a whole new way. "This is the best milkshake ever," she told Sophia. "I told you," Sophia said. "Road trip food just tastes better." As they continued driving, they saw a sign for a famous Route 66 gift shop. "Can we stop?" Emily asked. "I want a souvenir." Mr. Turner chuckled. "All right, but just 15 minutes. The shop was filled with cowboy hats, vintage postcards, and Grand Canyon keychains. Olivia wandered through the aisles until she found a tiny silver charm shaped like a cactus. "This would go perfectly with my necklace," she thought, remembering the traveler's star she had bought at the farmer's market. She bought the charm and tucked it into her pocket, feeling like it was another piece of her adventure. Back on the road, the landscape started to change. The desert stretched out for miles, red rock formations towering in the distance. The closer they got to the Grand Canyon, the more breathtaking the scenery became. Jacob pointed out the window. "Look, wild horses." Olivia turned just in time to see a group of brown and white horses galloping across the open land. Her heart skipped a beat. It felt unreal. "I've only ever seen horses like that in movies," she whispered. Sophia smiled. "See, Texas isn't so bad, huh?" Olivia shook her head. "Not bad at all." After what felt like forever, Mr. Turner finally announced, "We're here." The van pulled into the Grand Canyon National Park, and everyone tumbled out, stretching their legs. Olivia's breath caught in her throat as she stepped forward. In front of her, the Grand Canyon stretched endlessly, its deep red and orange layers glowing under the sunlight. The sky was so clear, it felt like she could see forever. "It's even bigger than I imagined," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Jacob grinned. "Wait till we hike down a little. That's when it really hits you." They spent the afternoon exploring. Mr. Turner led them to a scenic overlook where they took turns taking pictures. Olivia pulled out the Polaroid camera her mom had given her and snapped a photo of the canyon, watching as the image slowly developed. She took another picture of her friends, Sophia, Jacob, and Emily, all laughing together. She wanted to remember this moment forever. As the sun began to set, the sky turned into a mix of pink, orange, and purple. It was one of the most beautiful things Olivia had ever seen. "I never thought I'd see something like this," she admitted. Sophia nudged her. "And this is just the beginning. There's so much more to see." That night, they set up tents near the canyon for a night of camping. Olivia had never slept outdoors before, but the idea of falling asleep under the stars excited her. They gathered around a small campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories. Mr. Turner even shared a few historical facts about the Grand Canyon, but Jacob interrupted him with a spooky ghost story. Okay, Sophia said, laughing. "Let's not scare Olivia on her first trip." "I'm not scared," Olivia lied, though she held her marshmallow stick a little tighter. As the night grew quieter, Olivia lay in her sleeping bag, staring up at the sky. The stars twinkled like tiny lanterns, brighter than anything she'd ever seen in Ohio. She thought about everything that had happened, starting a new school, making new friends, visiting a farmer's market, and now seeing the Grand Canyon. It had only been a few weeks since she moved, but she already felt like her life had changed. And in that moment, she knew she was falling in love with her new American life. The road trip to the Grand Canyon had been an unforgettable experience. But as Olivia settled back into her normal routine at school, another exciting event was just around the corner. Her first big American holiday celebration in Texas. At first, she didn't even realize how big of a deal it was. Back in Ohio, her family celebrated holidays in a simple way. Just her parents, a few close relatives, and maybe a nice dinner. But here in Texas, things are different. Everything felt bigger, louder, and more exciting. One afternoon, as Olivia was packing up her books at the end of class, Sophia tapped her on the shoulder. "You have big plans for Thanksgiving?" Sophia asked. Olivia hesitated. "Not really. We never did much for Thanksgiving back in Ohio. Just a quiet dinner at home." Sophia's eyes widened. "Oh no, that won't do. You have to come to my house. My family throws the biggest Thanksgiving feast ever. And we're doing a football game in the backyard." "A football game?" Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Like an actual game?" "Of course. It's a tradition. We do it every year, right before dinner." Before Olivia could even respond, Jacob and Emily joined the conversation. "Wait, Olivia's never had a real Thanksgiving?" Jacob asked, looking shocked. Sophia nodded. "I just invited her to my house." "Good," Jacob said, "because you can't live in Texas and not experience Thanksgiving the right way." Olivia laughed. All right, I'll come." As the week went on, Olivia noticed how the whole town seemed to change. Shops decorated their windows with pumpkins, leaves, and turkeys. Schools had bulletin boards covered in Thanksgiving-themed drawings. The air felt festive, and even the weather was cooler. At home, Olivia's mom had started baking more. "I know we never did much for Thanksgiving before," her mom said, placing a tray of pumpkin muffins on the counter. "But I thought we could try something different this year." Olivia smiled as she took a muffin. "That sounds perfect." She liked how her family was slowly adjusting to Texas, just like she was. The night before Thanksgiving, Olivia got a text from Sophia. "Sophia, make sure to wear something comfortable tomorrow. The backyard football game is serious." Olivia, "Wait, I thought you were joking about the game." Sophia, "Nope. Get ready to run." Olivia laughed, shaking her head. This was going to be interesting. The next morning, Olivia and her mom drove to Sophia's house. The moment they arrived, Olivia's jaw dropped. The house was huge, and the entire front yard was already decorated with orange and red leaves, pumpkins, and a giant inflatable turkey. The smell of food filled the air: roasted turkey, cinnamon, and something sweet Olivia couldn't quite name. Inside, Sophia's family was bustling around the kitchen. Aunts, uncles, cousins, there were so many people. Olivia had never seen a Thanksgiving celebration this big. "Olivia, you made it." Sophia ran over and hugged her. "Come on, you have to meet my grandma. She makes the best pecan pie in the world." Olivia followed her into the kitchen, where an older woman with kind eyes and an apron dusted with flour greeted her warmly. "So, this is the famous Olivia I've been hearing about," the grandmother said with a smile. "I hope you came hungry." "Oh, definitely," Olivia said, laughing. Before dinner, everyone went outside for the annual family football game. Olivia had never played football before, but that didn't matter. Everyone was so into it, and soon she found herself running across the grass, laughing as she tried to dodge Jacob, who was chasing her. "You're fast for a beginner," Jacob called, trying to tag her. Olivia grinned. Beginner's luck. The game was chaotic, but fun. At one point, Sophia's little cousin ran off with the football, and everyone had to chase him around the yard. By the end, Olivia was breathless, her face flushed, but she felt happier than ever. "I think I finally understand why people love Thanksgiving so much," she admitted, sitting down on the porch with Sophia. "Told you," Sophia said, nudging her. "It's not just about the food. It's about family, fun, and making memories." When it was finally time to eat, Olivia couldn't believe how much food there was. Turkey, mashed potatoes, cornbread, stuffing, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce, and at least 5 different kinds of pie. Olivia took a bite of pecan pie, and her eyes widened. "This is amazing," she said. "I told you," Sophia's grandmother said, looking pleased. As everyone gathered around the table, Olivia felt something she hadn't expected, a deep sense of belonging. Even though she wasn't related to anyone here, she felt like part of the family. Sophia's dad stood up to make a toast. "This holiday is about gratitude," he said. "And today, I'm grateful for family, for good friends, and for new beginnings." Olivia smiled. For the first time since moving to Texas, she realized she had something to be truly thankful for. Thanksgiving had been an eye-opening experience for Olivia. She had never felt such warmth and excitement around a holiday before. For the first time, she truly felt like she belonged. But feeling at home and calling a place home were two different things. Even though she was settling in, there was still a part of her that held on to Ohio, the place where she had spent her entire life, where everything had been familiar. No matter how much fun she had in Texas, there were moments when she missed the life she had left behind. But as the days passed, something changed. It wasn't one big moment. It was a series of small things, tiny, almost unnoticeable moments that, when put together, made her realize she was no longer just a visitor in Texas. The first thing she noticed was how familiar the school hallways had become. She no longer felt like an outsider navigating a strange place. She knew which staircase to take when the main hallway got crowded, where to find the best snacks in the cafeteria, and which teachers were the most fun. Even the simple things like recognizing faces in the hallway or being able to greet people by name made her feel like she truly belonged. "Hey, Olivia," a voice called out one morning as she walked into school. She turned and saw Jacob and Emily waving her over. "Sit with us at lunch today," Jacob said. "Sophia wants to talk about Christmas plans." Christmas plans. Olivia blinked. That was new. Back in Ohio, she had never really made plans with friends for the holidays. It was always just a quiet time with her parents. But now, she was being invited into new traditions, new memories. "Yeah, of course," Olivia said, feeling a little flutter of excitement. Another big moment came when she finally understood what it meant to live in Texas. One Saturday afternoon, Sophia invited Olivia to her cousin's ranch. Olivia had never been to a real ranch before, but as soon as she arrived, she felt like she had stepped into a whole new world. Horses, rolling fields, wooden fences stretching out for miles. The sky was wide and open, and everything smelled like fresh air and sunshine. "You've never been horseback riding, have you?" Sophia asked, a knowing smile on her face. Olivia hesitated. "Nope, and I'm not sure I want to." But before she could protest, Sophia's cousin was leading over a gentle brown horse named Daisy. "Daisy's the sweetest horse here," Sophia assured her. "Come on, give it a try." At first, Olivia was nervous, but as she carefully climbed onto the saddle and felt the slow, steady rhythm of Daisy's movement, something clicked. For the first time, she didn't feel like someone who was just passing through Texas. She felt like she belonged here. The biggest realization came on Christmas Eve. Her parents had decided to decorate the house more than usual this year. Olivia helped her mom hang up Christmas lights, and her dad set up a small tree in the living room. As she placed a silver ornament on the tree, her mom smiled. Her mom said, "I think we're finally getting used to Texas." Olivia looked around at the cozy, warm home they had created. "Yeah," she said softly. "Me too." That night, she received a text from Sophia. "Sophia, hey, we're all getting together tomorrow for a Christmas bonfire. You have to come." Olivia, "A bonfire? On Christmas?" Sophia, "Yep. It's a Texas thing. Hot cocoa, esmores, music. You in?" Olivia smiled. A few months ago, she might have hesitated, but now, she knew her answer immediately. "Olivia, I'm in." As she set down her phone and looked out the window at the Texas sky, she realized something. Ohio would always be part of her, but Texas? Texas was home now.